Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a review of 2.5, my bad. 365 Days to the Wedding, episode 12. This is the last episode, guys. You know something? Before I do this review of this, I like to say one thing about this show and about rom-coms in general. This is the perfect example. 365 Days to the Wedding is a perfect example of patience in a rom-com. See, when it comes to rom-coms, and I love rom-coms, by the way, it takes time. It takes patience. It takes that moment to just wait, just be patient. They won't let you down. When the bright light's there, the fall ain't gonna happen. You have to be patient with rom-coms. Just like you've been patient on One Piece, just like you've been patient on Naruto, just like you've been patient on all years of shonen animes to a point, or mangas, to a point where you're like, get to the point, let's see where this goes. You have to be patient with rom-coms. And with rom-coms, the thing about rom-com is this. They take two polar opposites, make it into a story, and you have to understand what makes him or her go in like that in effect. Just like with Alia, who sometimes speaks in Russian. You have two polar opposites. One is strict, yet Russian. The other one is a standard guy with an otaku. But two polar opposites working together, they work at chemistry. Just like My Dress Up Darling. You have Kitagawa, the energetic girl, who loves cosplaying. Then you got Gojo, who's the quiet one, but, making clothes. Two polar opposites. Takuya and Rika's relationship in this show, two polar opposites. And when you have two polar opposites together, it comes down to how it goes till the end. And patience is a virtue when it comes to rom-coms. Now, I get it. I know I'll bring up Rent a Girlfriend. I'm going to bring it up because it's the GOAT of Rent a Girlfriend is the GOAT of rom-coms. But like I said, with Rent a Girlfriend, you have to be patient. Be patient. With this same basic principle. And after 12 episodes, we got to the end. So without further ado, let's get right to it with the review of 365 Days to the Wedding. Okay, now this is the last episode, guys. Let's get down. Let's just call it like it is. The marriage. Since day one, they have been lying to the JTC public. They've been lying to everybody saying they're getting married. They're getting married. Okay, now this whole fake marriage thing is kind of like the Lloyd Spikes family. Like, oh, they're fake married, but they pretend to be married, pretend to be a family. In this case, throughout the whole episode, they finally understand true love. They finally understand the expressions. They finally have feelings for each other. And again, two polar opposites, and that's what makes it good. In a relationship, when you have one girl who doesn't like your anime, and you have the person who likes this other show, yeah, the girl may not like your style, but she gave it a try. And, she liked what you do. Your personality, your looks, all that thing. That's what makes it special. So Rika and Takuya decide to, you know what? Let's call it like it is. Now, the boss knew. Well, no, she had this idea since day one they've been married. It's proof. Because they been getting a word from the boss. The head boss and everybody else saying they're not married. And she brought in proof. But it still have to decide who has to go to Alaska. Because if we go back to the first episode, you have to be single to go Alaska. And they pick one person who I feel bad for is Gonda. Gonda has been a true, reliable friend. Since that episode, and I still can't get over the fact about it, when he wanted to marry that single mother, and that one of the episodes, he wants to marry her, but she was a single mom. It was like, damn, that hurt me, and I feel his pain. Wanted to be in a relationship, wanted to get married, and be him becoming a stepfather. That just messed up. But Gunda was the only option that they had to pick, and I feel bad for Gunda. This episode kind of had when you held secrets, there's consequences. There's actions and there's consequences. And for Rika and Takuya's relationship to pretend to be married has consequences where Gunda had no choice. They picked him he gotta go to Alaska. And I don't want him to go to Alaska. Now, throughout their times, Rika and Takuya relationship has been up to that. There's jealousy, there's chemistry, their liking for each other. They all this pretend leads to this. Takuya and Rika both really, 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 really love each other. You know, it's funny because, like I said, when we have two polar opposites together, it's a form of spark that you see. So Takuya and Rika, them crying. I see Rika crying. That was upsetting enough for me. But then Takuya, well, actually, no, let me go back to the boss, though. Before I get to that, the boss, Takuya and Rika's boss, is the MVP of this episode. She took a bullet. She took a bullet. She took a bullet for them. She took a bullet. Because Rika and Takuya, they both felt bad. They felt guilty, all that stuff. She didn't want to lie. Lie leads to... When you lie, there's two types of lies. There are lies that are wrong, and there are lies that are helpful. Like, when I mean by lying is helpful, I mean, like, you don't want to get them upset. It's helpful because you don't want to upset them. You know what I mean? That's two types of lies. Lies that are wrong and lies that are helpful. We got to see Takuya's backstory of what made him lie to his mom and dad in the first place, but it's sad. So when he told the boss the truth about everything, the boss was like, okay, no problem. And they had Rika, and Rika said the same thing to her. But the reason I said the boss is the MVP of this episode because she took a bullet for their marriage, even if it was fake at the time. She took it because she loves to travel. She's a traveling addict. She loves to travel from the sand to the beach to the districts and all the places. She loves to travel. So it's not, and the thing about her is that it's not that she was sad. She wanted this. She like, I'll go to Alaska. No big deal because I love to travel. I was wondering, I've been doing meetings, I was doing all this, but I never have time for myself. I want to travel like I normally do. I want to travel. Even her husband approved. He wants to go too. So the whole family's going. But again, it's happy that she wants to go. And again, she's the MVP of this one. Now, Rika and Takuya going closer to their relationship, after all this experimenting with this whole fake marriage, it comes to that point where that end of the road. There's the road. You want to finish that road. You want to continue that road. And Takuya rushed down to Rika. As Rika was crying, she said, will you marry me? Yes, I want to get married. Both of them were screaming that they're going to get married. And then at that point where they got the ring, remember the first episode where Rika asked Takuya, will you marry me? It wasn't that serious. But in this last episode, they were actually freaking serious. Where Takuya literally proposed to Rika, said, will you marry me? But if you love me. See, there's a marry and a love. And they both love each other. I wish Takuya would have taken the knee. Like, take the knee, pull the rings up and say, will you marry me? That kind of like, okay. Now, the whole line. Now, when they went to tell their staff about the whole marriage thing, they actually approved it. They're like, wait a minute, so you guys weren't married, but now you actually getting married? They're like, yep. They're like, we gotta plan the first episode recap. Let's go to a barbecue one more time. But still, everyone approved, except for the Donkey Kong blonde haired Donkey Kong guy. But okay, but again, everyone's happy. They approved it, and I like how the ending is where we got the anonymous call, jigsaw call. Like, I want to play a game. We finally got the call. Who was that guy? And it's funny. People was like, who is that person that been taking all these mysterious calls? And it was one of the staff members, Kizuka, I think his name is, with the suit and the black hair. He was the last person I never expected. Some people right now say it could be somebody else. But I think that mysterious call was actually him. It's Kizuka, the one with the suit and the black hair. He was the last guy I never suspected. I thought it was the female with the long hair. I thought she was the caller. But we got the answer. And again, the ending just gave us, everyone's happy. We got to see Rika's mom. We got to see the girl with the blonde hair from Germany. She's out there traveling with her female friend. You gotta, Takuya's family, every approved, and Takuya's childhood friend. They're all happy for their marriage. And then at the end of it, Rika go into Takuya's house and they kissed. They kissed, and then in the end of it, you got the rocks symbolizing them, Takuya and Rika as rocks, black and white. See, that's what the 365 days, you got the yin and the yang. You got two polar opposites, but when you put them together, they become as one. And that's what this was. I was ecstatic that Takuya got the guts, the glory, to confess to Rika. I'm happy that Rika expressed her feelings, and then it all said and done. I mean, like them holding hands, actual holding hands, Rika having conversation to Takuya about volcanoes and such, which was good conversation in them, and they were okay with it, but still, that's what this episode was. Two polar opposites having this fake relationship, but when they get closer and understanding each other, they become as one. This is why I said rom-coms are an essential part of patience. You have to be patient when you watch shows like this. Now, do I believe it deserves a season 2? I'll be honest with you. An OVA or a season 2 might be nice. Now, some people say it was rushed, but I don't think it was rushed. I feel like timing from first episode all the way here was the pacing on like, this is getting there, it's getting that build up. And they did. Do I believe it's season 2? It depends. Because I think it has a potential like maybe 60, 70%. 60, 70, because 2025 is going to be the year of the rom-coms. And I see where this is going. But overall, though, this was a glorious ending. I like where the direction is going. I hope that Takuya and Rika continue living separate, but pretty soon later on, they're going to be living together. So we'll see that. But I give this adult rom-com, an 8.5. It's very good, very majestic. There's no like rush in them. That's how it is. But I look forward for 2025 because 2025 is going to be the year of the rom-coms, and I cannot wait to see more of it. I can't wait to see more of rom-coms, especially the 100 Girlfriends and all that. I'm looking forward to it, especially that yandere elf in the spring. That I'm going to talk about too. So, see you next year.